Welcome to the Lynn Community Television Show, a program which focuses on organizations right here in the City of Lynn. Here with me today from GLSS's program, the Kiosk for Living Well, we have Liz Bulkley, Mobility Links Program Coordinator, and Carol Zaliski, Director of New Initiatives. Ladies, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
Happy to have you. So we talked a little bit before the program about all this great work that you're doing down there. We're here to talk about the Kiosk for Living Well. If you're online right now, you can jump onto their website, www.thekioskforlivingwell.org. You can also find them on Facebook by searching The Kiosk for Living Well. We're going to get more into this program, but first and foremost, I want to learn a little bit about you guys and who you are and what you do. Liz, we'll start with you.
All right, my name is Liz Bulkley, as you said, and I am the Mobility Links Program Coordinator. And what I do in my work at GLSS is I oversee parts of our Mobility Links program, but I also am very, very involved with the Kiosk for Living Well. I've helped recruit many volunteers who work at the kiosks at the various sites, and have also worked very closely on developing programming, video programming for the kiosk project.
Okay, so GLSS, Greater Lynn Senior Services, is a very well-known organization within the City of Lynn. The overall focus is for seniors here in the Greater Lynn area, but underneath GLSS falls a lot of specialized category programming, just like what you do over there. And I gotta say that their model is very effective, and you guys reach tons of numbers, which is outstanding. It's a big feat. So Carol, let's talk about you. You're the Director of New Initiatives over there. You were a big driving force in getting the Kiosk for Living Well, and you did that in cooperation with Liz. Let's talk about what you're doing over at GLSS.
Sure. I am very fortunate to be part of a very creative and talented planning and development department. Many grants are written and submitted and awarded. And as the Director of New Initiatives, when we get a new grant, I have the wonderful opportunity of operationalizing it, making happen what we said we could do when we submitted it on paper.
It sounds like both of you guys enjoy your work thoroughly. But there's a big an administrative aspect to it too. You guys have had some experiences with these people that you work with one-on-one. We're going to talk about that as we get through. We talk about some of the benefits to the community. But I want to talk about the Kiosk for Living Well and its start in 2012. How did it come about?
It was a unique idea, one that was developed in the Planning and Development Department at GLSS. It was an opportunity to bring some community pulse points and individuals together for the benefit of people living in the community. We employ the fun theory, because if people are having fun, they enjoy things more. We have grown over the past 4 years since we started in 2012. We can talk more about that later, but there have been many new initiatives added to the Kiosks for Living Well in those 4 years.
Outstanding. I mean, I can't believe it's been 4 years since you guys had started this. Wow.
Neither can I.
So today you're in 5 different cities: Beverly, Danvers, Gloucester, Lynn, and Peabody. They're all open separate times. You can jump onto their website, www.thekioskforlivingwell.org, to find more information. Let's talk about its overall detail. What's the mission today, Liz?
Before I talk about the mission, I wanted to say that the Kiosk for Living Well is not like a traditional kiosk.
Okay.
So a person who visits the kiosk does not go to a place where they can take leaflets out and review things and then leave, or they're not purchasing little items like in a mall. The Kiosk for Living Well is a place that contains a large touchscreen computer with hundreds of apps on it and different programs, exercise programs, a lot of health and wellness programs. It's called the IN2L technology, which stands for It's Never Too Late. So in addition to that, there are typically two staff people who are there to be in any way helpful to visitors who come to the kiosks. And in addition to that, we have introduced in the last couple of years a nurse, a hypertension specialist, a couple of nurses who come to the kiosks on a monthly basis, and also a falls prevention person who works with people on mobility and does travel training in the community. And all of these programs are designed, getting to what you asked about the mission, are designed to kind of bring things to the community, to promote health and wellness within the community. And that's a lot of what GLSS does. And Paul Crowley is the executive director. He's the person who sort of gave the okay for us to develop the kiosks. And we've tried to keep it consistent with what the organization does overall, and that is promoting health and wellness and making sure consumers have choice, can make their own choices about their health and their wellness.
The functionality of each of these kiosks are worth their weight in gold. I mean, because each of them are a hub of access for seniors to gain the information that they need, whether it's a referral to a specialized doctor, whether it's detail on how to gain transportation in certain places, if it's inside the city, if it's outside the city, and even just to gain access of what's going on in their community, what's accessible for them out there. I mean, you guys are getting some recognition at the state level for this. Do you anticipate this growing, this process, this business plan for seniors to just kind of jump off and take off across the rest of the nation?
We certainly do, and in fact, just last week we were in Washington, D.C. at the Society for Aging Conference, and we received a lot of national recognition, a lot of questions from people all over the country interested in what we're doing. We see it as an opportunity to engage people in their own health care. And we know that there'll be no change in the health care until people become involved in driving their own health care. We talk about better access, better health care, better outcomes. In order to achieve those three goals, we have to get people involved in driving their own health care.
Okay. And the idea is revolutionary. I believe this, because you've basically created a one-stop hub for anybody to go and get some information that they need. And I mean, it's not something that hasn't been done before, but it hasn't been done for seniors. And I think that these guys get overlooked a lot. And it's not really until like you've got a senior in your own life where you realize, okay, there's a specific need for this demographic of people, and you guys have kind of jumped on that, and you're doing exactly what I love to see, is you're leading by example. So you're gaining some recognition at the state and national level. Mm-hmm. It's going to be cool to see where this goes. You guys are probably going to be consultants on other type of programs across the state. So I want to talk about who is this for. So Greater Lynn Senior Services is the program that the Kiosk for Living Well works under. Is this just for seniors?
No, it isn't. It is for anybody, and we have made a special point to make sure that all the kiosks are accessible to anybody of any age. And we also partner with organizations in the upper part of the North Shore, and as part of a consortium called The Link. And what that does is it enables us to have kiosks at the locations you mentioned, Danvers, Peabody, Beverly, and Gloucester, and be able to kind of see what works for any age. And the reasons people come to the kiosks are really diverse. Some of them are health reasons. Some of them are needing specific information on housing, for instance, or some simply want to be there to chat, but really it's a chance for us to give people the tools so they can make choices about their own lives and about their own health and their own decisions.
So we're giving these guys an independence back, as ideally what we're trying to achieve here. And it's for anybody, and that's great. It's literally a benefit to the community. So far we've covered a lot. We're talking about the Kiosk for Living Well. If you're just joining us, you can find more information at www.thekioskforlivingwell.org. They're also on Facebook if you search the Kiosk for Living Well. Reach out to these guys, 781-586-8592. The Kiosk for Living Well program organized under GLSS. Here with me, Liz Bulkley and Carol Soliski. We're talking about some of the great work that they've achieved. Let's talk about some of the benefits of the community. Before the program, throwing this question at you guys. So the benefits of the community, well, it's access. Obviously, Sean, you're not getting this just yet. And it was kind of like, well, yeah, obviously there's plenty of resources that are available. And then you kind of just started going off on specific instances. I want to share some of those stories with our viewership.
Sure. We know from talking to people and from our own experience that sometimes people don't want to always go to their doctor's office. We encourage people not to use the emergency room for primary care. So we feel it's our obligation to create an environment, a pulse point in the community where they can get some help. And we can share some of the examples that we've experienced. Liz talked earlier about our hypertension nurse. We have nurses there who are following the Million Hearts Initiative, which is a program that was developed by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And its goal is to prevent 1 million cardiac events by the year 2017. And we've had our hand in that. We had one woman who came into the kiosk with her niece. They were Latino, and she spoke only Spanish. We're fortunate to have 2 community health workers who are bilingual at our kiosks here in Lynn. And her niece was able to convince her to let the nurse check her blood pressure, which she did. It was extremely high. The community health worker was able to talk with her in her own language and share with her the need to be seen urgently. She agreed. 911 was called. She went to the emergency room. Once she was in the emergency room, the doctor who treated her said if she'd waited another 15 minutes, she might not have survived. She was in such severe cardiac distress. So we have several stories like that, and I think we were talking earlier and before the program, we're saving people and we're helping the community one person at a time.
Yeah, so there are some actual life-saving efforts that are going
Yes, yes.
Liz, anything to share?
Sure. I also wanted to say that in Lynn, we have a kiosk open at the Senior Center on Silsby Street and also in the Wall Towers. We have 2 kiosks there. We have operated out of the library, and the mayor came to our opening, our launch there when we opened in early 2013. And so in terms of examples of successes and things that have made a difference in the community, we have one consumer who comes to the kiosk on a regular basis, and he had a number of falls before he started coming to the kiosk and began working with our falls prevention expert, our Move Safe counselor, and she recommended he start using a cane, which he started doing and was so pleased and so much more mobile with the cane that he began using public transportation to get up to the mall on Saturdays, which he had not done. Wow. So in terms of reaching out to the community or providing something in the community that makes a difference, here's a man who may have become isolated and now is out venturing on his own, feeling much more confident and demonstrating wise practices.
So these are the stories that really speak volumes to me, because there's a niche here. A lot of people end up on this program, they help people by their trade. That's what it is. We focus on a lot of nonprofits. And they get to a point where they're walking around in the city of Lynn and they'll see somebody and they get all excited and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. I can't believe it's you. I haven't seen you." And they're like, who are you? And it's like, "You helped me 5 years ago. And I can't explain to you the difference that you've made in my life." And they forget because they've helped so many more people. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's probably you guys going to have to get used to that, is seeing all the change that you're seeing making these people's lives. But being a part of it, and when you can give a man his independence back, when he thinks that there's no other, that's going to be one of the most rewarding things. And I can tell right now that these 2 women don't work for the money, they work for the experience. I want to talk a little bit about what it was in 2012, what it is today, and some of the continuous improvements. Carol, I'm going to go to defer to you on this one. So in 2012, its overall function, how has that differed to what it is today?
We've added so many specialists and therefore so many opportunities for people to learn things. Since our initial opening, we've added the Million Hearts program with the nurse and the community health workers, the bilingual aspect. We've added our falls prevention specialist who gives people individual exercises based on their need to build up their muscle mass and their balance. And as she is quoted as saying, we can't prevent all falls, but we can prevent a fair number, and exercise and stamina is important. We have added options counselors, the state-funded program, which helps people know their options and make their choices about how they want their long-term care services provided. We have on occasion employment counselors from North Shore Career Center helping people update their resumes or look for part-time jobs in retirement. So there is no end to where this can go. I like to say the only limits we have is our own creativity. If we can think of it, we can probably provide it in the kiosk.
So Liz, where do you expect this thing to go in the future? What kind of continuous improvements are you working on today?
Well, one of the things we've seen already in Lynn is the connection with the community health center, the Lynn Community Health, and what a difference that makes, kind of a porous connection as a way of developing better health in the community for everybody. We're going to see an increase in that, we hope, but also we have started doing roving kiosks, what we call roving kiosks, and that is where one of our staff people goes out to a different location determined by a number of factors and sets up a kiosk and goes, like at an event, let's say a senior center might have a special event, so there'll be a lot of people there who can be introduced to the kiosk for Living Well, and that person typically goes with one of our specialists, either one of the Million Hearts nurses or possibly the Move Safe counselor, and as a way of introducing people to the kiosk concepts and as a way, again, of promoting a good health in the community. And we don't know, we're hopeful we can expand even more than that, but those grants, I think, are being written right now.
Yeah.
And so we can't say too much.
Right. So now you guys are in Beverly, Danvers, Gloucester, Lynn, and Peabody. If you had to pick a next location, where would it be and why?
Well, I can't cite a specific location right now. Many locations have come to us to say they would really, really love to have the kiosk there. It requires a certain amount of effort to establish a kiosk in any location, so we want to make sure that we have the right number of people. We have reached so far more than 10,000 people through the kiosks since we opened in 2012. And we're very proud of that, and we want to be able to expand on that. So we're being very careful about how we move forward and where we're going to go.
Now, the rapid growth that you guys have experienced it's amazing. Are there any obstacles that are ahead that may make your job more difficult, whether it's in regard to litigation, lack of funding, lack of staffing?
Well, I think we're in pretty good shape right now.
We would always welcome more funding.
Yes.
And it would be very important for us to mention how important our volunteer advisors are to staffing our kiosks. We always can use more volunteers.
How do volunteers get involved?
They call the number that's on the bottom of the screen, talk with Liz. We have an online training that they can do on their own time frame, and then we meet with them one-on-one to go over some of the specifics and the training. The course was developed in conjunction with North Shore Community College, and we use a approach which is a coaching approach. We don't tell people what to do, we don't help people make their decisions, we coach them through the process. And we give our advisors an intensive training on that coaching model. We have monthly meetings for them so that we can meet with them, they can share best practices among themselves, and we welcome volunteers of all ages and all experiences to please contact Liz. And in terms of the other challenges you mentioned, I think that finding good locations where people will come, we have to have internet access, we have to have certain space capabilities so that we are always welcome people's interest, and we will work with you to see what we can do.
Outstanding. Liz, less than 2 minutes in the program. Anything to add?
Oh boy, Carol just said all the things I was planning to say.
Great.
So, and that was around the volunteers, how incredibly important they are to the program and what they have brought and the stories that they provide to us about the meaningfulness of what they are doing and how their lives have changed by being a volunteer at the kiosks. Right. And one of our advisors, she worked at different kiosks, and then she finally settled on one because she made a connection with so many of the people that she felt was important.
Yeah, volunteers are definitely they're a godsend. Every day you get one, you're more thankful. So it's good. So guys, if you're interested in volunteering, helping these young ladies out over there at GLSS for the Kiosk for Living Well program, love for you to reach out, 781-586-8592. You can also jump online, www.thekioskforlivingwell.org. They're also on Facebook if you search The Kiosk for Living Well. I can't thank you enough, Liz Bulkley, Carol Zaleski from GLSS's program, The Kiosk for Living Well, outstanding job, and be sure to see these women in the headlines for the years to come from the studio here at Lynn Community Television. That's it for the LCTV show. I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best.